All right, let's just dive right into this. I'm sure you've all heard that classic piece of advice, fake it till you make it. It's supposed to be this amazing shortcut to confidence. But is it really? What we're going to do here is unpack what psychology actually says about building real, lasting confidence. You know, the kind that doesn't feel like you're putting on a show. So let's start with that big question right there. Is this super popular mantra really the whole story? I mean, yeah, it can definitely help you take that terrifying first step, but relying on it all the time? Well, that might have a hidden downside, creating this huge gap between how you act and how you actually feel inside. And to really get this, we've got to draw a really clear line between two very, very different things: performing confidence on the outside and genuinely feeling it on the inside. They might look kind of the same from a distance, but trust me, internally they are just worlds apart. Okay, now this slide is where it gets really interesting. Look at this contrast. Performed confidence? That's all about managing how people see you. It's totally focused on the outside, constantly asking, how am I coming across? Do they like me? And that is just exhausting, or as the source material calls it, cognitively expensive. It's like running a demanding app in the background of your brain all the time. And it's so fragile. One wrong look from someone and it can all come crashing down. But then you have genuine confidence. That's anchored inside you. It's this quiet, solid feeling that you're fundamentally okay, that you're sufficient. It doesn't need other people to sign off on it. It's resilient.
And this brings us to this really key concept from the psychologist Albert Bandura. It's called self-efficacy. Now, this isn't some big, vague feeling like, I'm a good person. No, it's super specific. It's the belief that you can handle a particular situation. So when we talk about social confidence, what we're really talking about is social self-efficacy. And the best part about that? It's a skill. You can actually build it, just like anything else.
So, if confidence is a skill, what's stopping us? Why is it so hard sometimes? Well, it turns out there are a few really common mental habits that just totally sabotage our efforts. Let's call them the destroyers of confidence, and let's meet them one by one.
First up, we've got this guy, excessive self-monitoring. This is when your brain's spotlight is turned completely inward. You're tracking your every word, the tone of your voice, your facial expressions. And here's the crazy irony, that intense self-focus is the very thing that makes you feel so awkward. You're so busy watching yourself that there's just not enough attention left to actually be in the conversation. Next up, unfair comparisons. Oh, this is such a classic trap. This is when you compare your inner world, all your private doubts, your anxieties, your screw-ups, to other people's perfectly polished public performance. You're basically comparing your behind-the-scenes footage to their movie trailer. It's a totally unfair fight, and it's a game you just can't win. And that leads perfectly into our next destroyer, perfectionism. This is when you treat any tiny social stumble, an awkward pause, a joke that totally bombs, as some kind of catastrophic proof that you're inadequate. You're setting this impossibly high standard for yourself, which means you're pretty much living with a constant feeling of failure.
And finally, there's avoidance. See, every single time you decide to skip that party or avoid that meeting because you're feeling anxious, you're sending a really powerful message to your brain. You're telling it, that situation is dangerous, and I'm not strong enough to handle it. It might feel better for a second, but in the long run, it just makes the anxiety even stronger.
Okay, so we've identified the villains. We know what's tearing our confidence down. The good news is, psychology also gives us a clear, practical toolkit to fight back. So let's get into it. Let's look at this 8-step action plan for building real confidence.
But before we jump into the steps, I want to just pause on this quote for a second, because it's everything. It is the absolute core of this whole thing. The single most powerful shift you can make is to redirect your focus from, how am I doing, to, I wonder what this person is all about. It changes the entire game.
So here's the plan. First, shift that focus outward. Get curious, ask questions, actually listen. Second, use gradual exposure. Don't try to go from 0 to 100. Start small, a quick chat with a barista, and then build up from there. Each little success becomes evidence for your brain. Third, build competence in things you actually care about. When you're passionate about something, it gives you this natural fuel for conversation. And fourth, reframe your mistakes. Look, socially confident people say awkward things all the time. The difference is they don't treat it like it's a final verdict on their self-worth. It's just a thing that happened.
Let's keep going. Step 5. Develop your self-concept. Know what you stand for, what your values are.
The more you're grounded in who you are, the less you'll get rattled by what other people think. 6. Work on your body language. Just standing a little taller, with your shoulders back. These small physical shifts can actually make you feel more confident. 7. Challenge those negative predictions. Before you go into a situation, write down what you're afraid will happen. Then, afterwards, write down what actually happened. You're going to start to see a gap between your fear and reality. And finally, number 8, deliberately accumulate positive experiences. You need to build your own internal library of social wins, no matter how small they seem.
Okay, I get it. An 8-step plan can feel like a lot. It can seem a little overwhelming. But building confidence is not about doing everything at once. It's about taking one single, manageable step. So let's focus on where you can start, right now, this week.
Here's the most crucial thing to remember. Confidence isn't something you find. It's something you build. You build it with action. Every single time you have a conversation, even though you feel anxious, you are literally rewiring your brain. Because your brain learns from experience. The key is to feed it new, better experiences to learn from.
And that leads us to our final takeaway. Here's your mission, if you choose to accept it. This week, find one conversation, just one, and go into it with a single, simple goal: to be curious about the other person. Not to be impressive. Don't worry about saying the perfect thing or how you're coming across. Just be interested. Try it and just see what changes.